Good evening everybody, and welcome to this review of White Dwarf issue 96 from December 1987. On the cover today we have what appears to be a skeleton and his pet owl. Not sure of its name, could possibly be Hedwig. This one doesn't open entirely well. I'll try and keep these pages open without pulling the book to bits. We have an advert for Judge Dredd, City Block this time. They appear to do a lot of Judge Dredd games around this time. Filthy Stain here, not sure what that is. Your upcoming game releases section with a Dungeon Quest game, which I actually think looks quite interesting. We'll have to have a look at that at some point. Games Day 87, not Golden Demon 87. I think they were their own separate things at this point. That spaceship for the Marines there looks quite interesting. This is an article about Games Day 1987. The best new role-playing game was Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay by Games Workshop. Was there anything they didn't win? Call of Cthulhu by Chaosium beat them on the best other role-playing game. An advert for Mega, the role-playing system. Never heard of that, but I like this yellow colour. Sheffield opens a new shop with its mascot, the Marine with no backpack. It's a nice piece of art though. I really like this black and white line and ink art they did. The book review section, which we talked about last time. Ian Watson, he did the Space Marine book, I believe, the first novel, which was very interesting. Thrud the Barbarian is still ongoing at this point. And an advert for Warhammer Fantasy Battle. And here's our favourite, Gobbledygook. The most busy looking comic strip you've seen in your entire life, including a goblin in the toilet. Reminds me of the front cover of that Ghoulies movie. Some Minotaurs for Warhammer, I believe, and the Minotaur Lord, which comes with alternative head, skull face. And the Nippon Rocket Crew. What happened to the Nipponese? Barroom Brawl. Some rules to have a pub fight in Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay. Some elf warriors here look absolutely fantastic. I think this is actually already drawn onto the page here, although originally I thought the previous owner had done this, but it's actually printed. Some elf war dancers over here. Very interesting minis. That guy looks like Prince to me. Gartan. These are all names that you would find in B-movie sword and sorcery movies. Yalor and Elrin. Marvellous. Here are the rules for the said elf war dancers. Slan o' War. So these are rules for the Slan in Warhammer Fantasy. And here they are, the models. And they do look marvellous. Did not know they had slaves, but there he is, Polge the slave. And these old cold ones are really amazing. They look like blue dogs. To Live and Die in Mega City 1, the concluding part of the longest epic adventure, which takes up many, many pages in your White Dwarf magazine. If you were a Judge Dredd fan back in the late 80s, you'd love these magazines. Some men at arms over here. Look a little bit like Bretonians to me. The artwork for the Judge Dredd rules look absolutely fantastic. The Snake Man, the ghost of Judge Omar. A map. And apparently the first ever plastic box set, the Warhammer Fantasy Regiments, which I think netted you 10 dwarves, 10 dark elves, 10 orc warriors, 10 skaven, 10 elves, and 10 goblins. So that would give you 60, wouldn't it? That is crazy. All this for $9.99. Can you imagine getting 60 minis now for $9.99? And they actually look pretty damn good, I'd say. Especially that goblin. The Beast of Kozamura. An adventure for Rune Quest. The Casket of Souls by Ian McCaig. He is the artist, apparently, for Casket of Souls. And these look absolutely stunning. Possibly some of the best artwork I've seen in a long time. These look like the sort of things I'd see on posters back in the day. That looks like the colour scheme and everything here. The composition reminds me of the Warhammer Battle Magic set. If anyone knows what I'm talking about, let me know in the comments if I've got the title of that wrong. Over here we have the rules for the first Space Marine jet bike. And the original lore for the Raven Wing of the Dark Angels chapter. What I always found fascinating about these old bullock pattern jet bikes was the way that you don't actually hold the handlebars. I think that is absolutely crazy, bizarre and very 40k. Do you steer it with your knees perhaps? The legendary Christmas Marines, you won't see many of them around today. And the first Imperial Guard metal minis. They do look absolutely fantastic. And if anyone wanted to have a little moan that there were no female Imperial Guard, the first release had them. Not sure what these are. These look to be metal knickknacks that you could buy. Some more rules for fantasy roleplay, I believe. Possibly one of the first pieces of fluff. The Travelling Players. They sound like they'd be a Mordheim band nowadays. Actor in drag. Fantastic, I like that pink dress. And your stereotypical I love mum tattoo on your strong man there. This ruffian. He does look very rough. The dragon looks more like a person to me. Oh, I see. He's dressed as a dragon. Onto an heavy metal section here. Looks to be dragon themed. Is that the Emperor and the dragon on Mars, perhaps? These look awesome. This was always my favourite one, the blue one. And this one, I always thought looked out of place. But I don't know why I thought that. They really are fantastic models. I want more dragons from Games Workshop, please. Look at these, fantastic. These were quite cheap. Well, back in the day it probably didn't seem cheap, but £15 for a big metal dragon doesn't sound too bad now, does it? Apparently there's some cloning going on in Leicester. A campaign for a roleplay. Very detailed. A Games Shop advert. Looks like Doctor Who there. Well, I think it could be. There's a lot of Doctor Who's. Ah yes, the Doctor Who section. The letters page. One day we'll have a read through of those. What are those drill bits? Why have we got a picture of various sized drill bits up there? Probably corresponds with one of the letters perhaps. More adverts for game shops. A mould maker required. Did any of you apply for that job? And are you still working there? Elven animal keepers. Lupus, the wolf keeper. Skabogia, the boar keeper. Ursus, the bear keeper. And Palu, the wild cat keeper. Reminds me of Chitara from Thundercats. Bugman's cart. With rules here. Fascinating. Only £2.50 for that. So Mr. Bugman was around back in the day.
Thank you very much for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, then please be sure to like and subscribe, or even leave a comment. I always try my best to reply to them all. You can even now support the channel by joining the Patreon page, details of which are in the description below. Thank you again for watching, and always remember to drill your barrels.